In this game of entrepreneurship, in this game of business, strangers are going to cheer for you louder than your family and friends will. Since I've started in business, I've lost almost every single friend I had. Um, Granted, I'm not saying it's all their fault, by no means, but I've lost almost every friend I've had. And the people that have helped me the most along the way were strangers when I started. And they're people that, in all honesty, would have had no reason to care about me or the journey that I'm on. And yet they're the ones who've put the most effort and time and energy into actually checking in, following up, seeing if they can help me in some way. And overall, encouraging me, whether that be through any of those methods I just mentioned, or whether that just be a verbal encouragement or something of that nature. And it's so interesting to me because, like, I have family members who literally have not asked me any meaningful question about my business. And it's like immediate family, like somebody I've known my whole life. And they've never asked me one meaningful question about my business. They've never asked me one question that required or that even, let's just say, deserved an answer beyond two words. And it's quite palpable, the difference in care and the difference in investment from these strangers or once strangers to your family. And I don't know that that's true across the board, but in my case in particular, it's funny. I find it amusing that the people that say they're going to support you through anything and they're going to love you through anything and they're going to do this and that and they talk a big game, and then when it comes down to it, like where are they at? Like there's nothing, and it's become almost a bit of a novel idea to me that somebody close to me could care about my business and how I'm spending time and doing all these things. Obviously, I've got a great girlfriend. I'm close with a couple of my siblings. And so they're invested and things like that. But the people that care the most are people that, 3 years ago wouldn't even have probably, I wouldn't have known, I guess, just bottom line. Wouldn't have had any idea who they are, what they do, or, you know, a hot clue about their story. And so it's been super interesting to me to learn kind of what it's like to go from zero again in another business where I'm not connected to all my friends and family so closely and needing their support to kind of get the business off the ground to now, being in a place where I'm serving clients. We're making these clients these huge sums of money and not even a referral will come from family. When before, when I was with Bandwagon, I know I've mentioned this a couple times. If you guys don't know who I am, all good. But I ran a small clothing company called Bandwagon Apparel, and family and friends were our biggest supporters. And when they got something out of it, so they would get the status symbol, or they would get shouted out, or they would get free merch, or they would get this or that. And so when there was something in it for them, they were there. But now when I'm running a service business, when I'm running my agency, they don't get anything out of it. They aren't offering referrals. Maybe just they don't know anyone who needs a service, but whatever the case, there's not a single referral that's come from family, which is pretty interesting. How before, when they would get, you know, they would get, or they would have the opportunity to get, most of the people were there. Like they would be like, oh yeah, we'll support. Or they would at least verbally commit. I'm sure if you guys have done any sales, you know how bullshit that is. But in my naivety, I was at a point where I thought every verbal commitment was, you know, it was, gospel. Because the way I was raised, my dad said, like, if you say something, you do it. Your word is your bond. Like you follow through. And when that wasn't the case, it kind of like I had to rewire my brain a little bit because I was like, oh, people are actually shitty. And then you start to see like, okay, so there's actually like 10 or 20 core people that are supporting here. And then the 60 people around that are the people who are verbally committing every single time, but they never pull the trigger and they never actually support. They keep you just close enough to get that kind of feel that they're doing their part and that they still want to be part in your life, but then they don't actually do any support to push you forward, to help you grow, or to actually encourage you. And it's pretty funny because like a lot of those same people, they would talk like they if they see me now, they'd talk to me about like my golf videos. So every year I shoot a bunch of golf videos, edit them when I have time, throw them up on Instagram. Just a fun hobby. And every single time they talk to me about it, I always in the back of my mind, so like, well, why don't you why don't you interact? Why don't you support me then? If it's so great, like, oh, I love seeing them, they're so funny, then why have you never liked one? And so you talk to these people who say that they're your friends and some are family and they don't give a fuck. And you're like, okay, okay, then like stop pretending. You don't have to do this for me. I don't care. I genuinely don't care if you don't support it, but don't pretend that you do. But then you meet people like I've got a friend I met at the acquisition.com workshop. I don't even know if I could call him a friend, but I will just because of the actual amount of support that he's offered me, which is far beyond the friends I have prior to that workshop and even post. Um, and I met him and we knew each other for 2 days, not even 2 full days. I met him one day. At the end of the day, he chatted with me for 30 minutes. We went out for dinner. We sat together the next day during the workshop. We talked for, I don't know, maybe an hour, 2 hours. That was it. We got exchanged phone numbers and he's checked in on me almost every single month since the workshop, like a year or 2 years ago. And I do not have a single friend, not one single friend from high school, from middle school, you know, eh, what would I say? Ex coworkers, things like that. Not a single one of them have reached out even a tenth of as much. Honestly, I don't think, mm, aside from one guy, kind of, I don't know if asking with pure intentions, but aside from one guy asking, no one's really asked me. No one's shot a text said, "Hey man, how's business going?" Except this guy I met at the workshop. And yeah, man, I don't know. I keep just reiterating that point, but it's crazy that the people closest to you often don't want to see you win because what happens is when you're in the game, and I'm just talking like a fucking tool right now. But when you're trying to build something, in my experience, even when I was day trading or building bandwagon or trying to build my cologne business, um, there's so many times that people had an opportunity to support and people had an opportunity to be a good person without it actually costing them anything. And even in those moments when they don't, it's even the moments when it wouldn't cost them anything and they don't, it's so telling of their character. And it's so telling that there's a number of things that they're just not willing to, not willing to accept and not willing to, I guess, come to terms with. Basically the same thing as accept, I suppose. One of which is that you're doing better than them or that you will be doing better than them. And they cannot accept that. They can't accept that their dreams were laid to rest when they decided that, okay, I'm going to blame everything on having a child, or I'm going to blame everything on this or that, or I got hurt one time 20 years ago. And now all of a sudden I can't move. I can't work out. I can't do this thing. I can't start a business because, oh, my hands hurt when I type. I can't work out because I twisted my ankle when I was 16. Like, brother, you're fucking 40. Like, and so when they see you getting in great shape, when they see you building a business, when they see you trying, when they see you trying, it hurts them. It hurts them deeply. And it might not even be a hurt that they're able to recognize, but they recognize the disdain for you. They recognize the fact that you're doing something that they didn't have the balls to do. And so now you're an op. And man, I don't know. It's like I said, I could just keep reiterating this till the cows come home, but it is something that I've kind of struggled with over the past couple of years. Maybe not couple years, maybe the past 10 years, 5.5 to 10 years in that range. Anyway, I don't really know the date. I've been working for 16 hours, man. Give me a break. But yeah, I don't know. Not everyone's a good person. And it sucks that when you're raised that whatever you say, you do, and that your word is bond, to find that out when you're like, I don't know, 18, 19, that, people just straight up say, like, my word means nothing, and then expect you to trust them next time. It's like, yeah, okay, buddy, not happening. But anywho, there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of losers too. And yeah, if you have a family and you have friends that are supportive of you, phenomenal. Super happy for you. God bless. But in my life, what I've found is those people who were strangers only a couple of years ago care more about your success than my family and friends do. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I've been Tommy. This is Invincible or something like that.